Hi, this is Mike from Mike's Unboxing Reviews and How To, and today we're going to be taking a look at a new case from Sahara. This is the Sahara Pirate Sea God H600. Keep watching to find out more. Okay, so on today's video we're going to be taking a look at the Sahara Sea God H600 or H600B. There's a couple of different model numbers and different variations of this case, all based on the same overall chassis. The differences being different fan configurations or no fans whatsoever. So let's take a look at the base spec. So the base spec of the case is H600 and that comes with no fans whatsoever, unlike what you can see here. So I'll turn this off. There, that gives you an idea of what it's going to look like. So that is the H600. This is a mid-range gaming case. Retails in the UK around about £60, which actually I think is a very, very good price point for this kind of case. We've got some super features on this case. So let's start from the front. So as you can see, this entire front section, well, pretty much entire front section, is completely mesh. So we're looking at loads of airflow here. You can fit up to 3 120mm fans, or 3 140mm fans, or 2 200mm fans. The 200mm fan version isn't available yet. Sahara is still working on their 200mm fans, so if you want to do that, you'll have to get them elsewhere. But otherwise, the SaharaGaming fans, such as these ones, the Pirate Duo rings, both in the 120 and 140mm sizes, fit in here fine. Also the Typhoon range as well, if you wanted to put those in. But if you go for the upgraded model that comes with 6 fans included and the Sahara Pirate game controller, that will set you back closer to £100. So if maybe you want 6 fans and a controller, £100, a little bit of a tougher choice in my opinion, but it's £60. The base model as it is fantastic. So on the front again, 360mm radiators supported, 280s, 240s, 120s if you wanted to. I don't know why you would, but maybe you could. The top section, you can get a 280 radiator in there, 240, 120s again. If you just want to put fans in there, same deal, 2 140s or 2 120s. And at the back of the case, you've got an option for a 120 or 140mm fan. So plenty of cooling going on there. Some really good combinations going on there, especially if you have a ton of fans at the front. Loads of intake and a little bit of exhaust giving you a little bit of positive pressure. Fantastic setup. With the 6 fan system, you've got pretty much a balanced option, so 3 in, 3 out. I've currently got this set up with my own fans because Sahara said, we're going to send you the case for review. Have you got some fans? I was like, yeah, I think so. I didn't have enough. So I've only got 4 fans in this currently, which actually seems like enough to me. 3 in the front, 1 in the rear as exhaust, positive pressure, good for keeping that dust under control. Now speaking of dust, this front panel, although it is completely mesh, behind this front panel, which is removable, there is a magnetic dust filter as well, which is optional. You don't have to use it if you don't want to, but it's there if you do. So I'm going to go ahead now and power down the system and we'll start stripping it down and having a look around the inside and all the flexibility. Okay, so first of all, you can see on this side panel, we've got our tempered glass. Now, this is a nice thick tempered glass panel. I think it's 5mm, so it's got some certain weight to it. And obviously that's going to help with noise reduction, all those kinds of things. Now it is removable with 2 thumb screws, which are on the rear. Some people prefer the thumb screws on the front. I kind of like them on the rear because it leaves this all nice and sort of flush, all that kind of stuff. So if you put it into some sort of desk receptacle, there's nothing to catch on. So that's really good in my opinion. And as you see, the glass is got a very light smoke tint, not much of a tint at all there, so really good for checking out your components on the inside. And what is nice to see is this nice big thick black surround on here, so if you are going to get your thumbprints all over it, it's nice and easy to wipe off and not have to worry about the insides too much. So moving into the inside, we've got this entire basement along this bottom section, which is completely sealed apart from a couple of holes at the back there for cable management and a little bit at the front for where you could mount your radiators if you wanted to. So this is completely solid, and actually because it's solid gives the case a massive amount of rigidity. It's a very, very solid case, which I personally like. The case itself isn't overly heavy considering its size. It's a slightly larger mid-tower. Size-wise, we're looking at depth of 440mm, a width of 230mm, and a height of 486mm. So, nicely finished basement in this kind of satin matte black finish, which I personally like. Gloss is a little bit too much for a case, and I think it adds a little bit of cheapness to it. And a complete matte finish is an absolute fingerprint and dust magnet, so having this kind of satin finish to it makes it nice and easy to wipe clean and to keep clean. So motherboard support, we've got full support for up to EATX, so if you want to put a massive motherboard in there, no problems at all. all the fittings and extra components are included for that, but you can use standard ATX, micro ATX, or if you're mad enough, an ITX board. I just never understand why they put ITX on there. I know you can do it, but why would you? It's crazy. So moving on from the motherboards, at the back here we've got this big open cutout, so if you're using custom cooling solutions, nice and easy to get access to, really easy to get back plates on, all those kinds of things. At the top we've got a nice cutout for putting your cable management through. There is only one cutout in this top section, which I would have preferred to have seen one a little bit further along this side, especially if you're planning on using an extended ATX board. Maybe you've got some extra connectors over this side. Seems a shame to stretch them over to that side, but all is not lost. There is a small cable management grommet or hole at the top here, and also we've got some grommets, or cutouts rather, along this section here. No rubber grommets, which I would have liked to have seen, but I think we're starting to get to that point with the PC manufacturer now where we're sort of edging away from rubber grommets altogether and just going for these nice rounded cutouts. I personally don't mind either way, but hey, some people do prefer that. Moving a little bit further forward, we've got mounting areas for 2 SSDs here on this sidewall. You don't have to mount them there if you don't want to. There are options on the rear of the case, but if you've got particularly nice drives and you want to show them off, you can install them here. And also don't worry about them interfering with any of your fans. I've mounted the fans here on the inner side of the case just to check out the room behind there, and there's no problems at all. There's a big gap between the hard drive, or SSD rather, and the fans. No problems there whatsoever. Cable management as well for the fans was nice and easy. There's plenty of cutouts there. If you wanted to do the fans on the front of this mesh, you can do. There is also cutouts there so you can pass cables through. So the options there, you could put the fans on the front and stick a radiator behind this panel. Again, lots of flexibility. So we've talked a lot about fans and the front panel, so let's take this front panel off and give you a look at the front. So this is the removable front, and as you can see, it's finished in this nice silver finish. Again, if you didn't like that, you could always quite easily paint that. It's quite easy to do. Bit of modding, no problems at all. Get it to the colour of your choice, but I actually quite like this kind of silvery colour. So it's quite a dark silver, so it fits in with most types of builds. The mesh is a very strong mesh front panel, so you don't have to worry about knocking it or denting it or anything like that. It's pretty sturdy. And along this side section, we've also got some more intakes, which is actually probably more than what a lot of modern cases actually have entirely, whereas this has got this on the side and also the front, so plenty of airflow. Moving around to the fan section on the front, so we've got this removable grille or filter, which is quite a fine mesh. Again, if you want to put a filter on there, you can do. Personally, I would think with the mesh front and also this hexagonal mesh here, should be more than enough for most environments. Although if you're in a particularly dusty environment, then you can use this if you want to, but if you want more airflow, you can just remove it. So flexibility, you can do pretty much what you like with it, which I personally like. So as you can see, we've got the 3 fans mounted in here at the moment. There's loads and loads of rails or tracks there to move the fans about, to put them however you want to. So like I said, you can put 3 120s in there, no problems at all. You can put 3 140s in there. There is just about enough room to fit 3 of those in the front. Ideally, I would say probably 2. This bottom section is predominantly cooling just for the PSU basement, which I guess is probably not that necessary. So 2 140s in there would look really nice and space out really well. Again, it's your PC, do it however you see fit. These are just my kind of interpretations. As I said before, if you wanted to mount the fans on this front section, you have got a cutout here, here and here, which looks like they've almost been designed to be put there. So you can put your wires in through there and then you can connect them up to your fan controller or your motherboard's fan headers, however you choose to do it. While we're on this front section, we'll just quickly go through the front I/O. So the front I/O consists of a power button, hard drive LED and power LED. There is a reset button. Next to that is an LED button, which is again one of those things I'm not overly keen on. Having a reset button and LED button very close to each other, for kind of most people, that's a little bit risky. There's a very strong chance you could accidentally press the reset button whilst trying to change your lighting. So be careful there. Next to that, we've got a USB 2.0, headset and microphone jacks, microphone, headset, whatever it is. Also another USB 2.0, then followed by a USB 3.0. Again, on this top section, we've got another magnetic filter, nice mesh filter. And on the top section here, you can mount, like I said before, you can put in there 2 120s or 2 140s, radiators, all those kinds of things. And there's that really nice offset, as you can see where the rails are here. So you've got this section here which is pushing it across from the motherboard. So if you've got any capacitors, VRMs, cooling, connections, anything over in this top section which you need access to, you can still get access to without having to squeeze your fingers behind things. So that's a plus in my book. So let's move around to the rear of the case. So again, the rear of the case, like the front of the case, is held on with 2 thumb screws. and the side panel just removes. The side panel is actually ridged or kind of squished in between the case, so you haven't got one of those kind of slot-in devices. It actually just pushes against this rail at the top and bottom, which adds to give the case that much stability and that rigidity. Even with the sides off, actually, there's still very, very limited flex in it, so it is actually made of really good quality steel. So into the back section now. So as you can see, I've wired in some of the fans already and the Sahara fan controller. You don't have to put it here. And again, if you buy it with the fans pre-installed and the controller pre-installed, you may find your layout to be slightly different. Again, this is just my interpretation of how things should be put in. So I've got one cable running through here, through this pass-through, into the controller, and the other three are coming through these cutouts, straight into the controller. You can use the controller manually if you wanted to. It does come with a handy-dandy remote control, which you can use. Or alternatively, you can use the pass-through cable, which connects up to the controller, connects to your motherboard for 4-pin PWM, and also 5-volt addressable RGB, so you can connect it to your motherboard and take control from there. I personally quite like using the remote control personally. It makes it a lot easier. So looking at the cabling, we've got a nice little cable stack here of your front I/O connectors. Now, one of the front I/O connectors actually goes into this control unit, which is labelled up saying RGB or LED. Then also we've got our HD audio, USB 3.0, we've got our front panel connectors for reset, power on, hard drive LED, all those kinds of things. And last but not least, we've got a USB 2.0 connector. Now, quite conveniently, as I was going to move on to next, the accessory box is fallen out already. So in the accessory box, we've got our instruction manual, and also there is some extra cabling and also all your connections, wires, screws, bolts, nuts, all that kind of stuff. And also a nice thing to see is there's some included Velcro strips as well to help with cable management, which I thought was a nice touch. But again, all that's in there in your accessory box, should you need to use it. There is at the bottom here a section where you can put 3 hard disk drives of the 3.5-inch size. That is fully removable. We'll go on to that in a minute when we flip it around to the bottom, but that entire enclosure comes out easily. It's held in with one thumb screw and some rubber grommets, so nice and easy to take out, and the rubber grommets actually help with vibration, so that's all good. Power supply wise, you can get up to a 200mm power supply in there. I've just got a standard size ATX one and stuffed all the wires in there, leaving plenty of room, very easy to work with. Again, moving up, we've got another 2 sections here for 2.5-inch drives, so whether that's like laptop style drives or SSDs, you can put 2 in there. You can put 2 in the front, so 4 SSDs in total, plus 3 hard drives in here. This could be a perfect video editing machine. So another quick thing of note while I think of it, there's plenty of pop-outs here, so you can cable tie things to keep things all looking nice and neat and tidy. There's actually quite a lot of room between the back panel and the motherboard tray itself. There's about an inch or so of room there, so you can quite easily manage your cables. Again, there's punch-outs all around this section for your ATX supplementary power connector to go through there. Again, loads of room down here, and if you remove the hard drive bay, if you're not using 3.5-inch drives, then you've got an absolute ton of space down there for cable management. So moving down to the very bottom, as you can see, we've got a removable mesh filter for the power supply. This is probably the one thing I don't like about this case. I really do not like these kinds of filters. They're a pain, and they should no longer be allowed. But again, it works, it's functional, it does what it's supposed to do. It's just these things can be an absolute pain in the backside to get back in. I would have much rather seen a plastic retention kind of system, some sort of pull out. But again, it does the job, it works, and hopefully it keeps the price down. So again, this is a £60 case, it's not a lot of money. You've got a lot of features here, so some things are obviously you're going to have to give up. If that's the only thing you have to give up, then it's not too bad in my books. So moving over to the hard drives, so this is on a thumb screw, and you see you've got your 4 connection points there, so all you do is just squeeze the drive a little bit, pull it up, out it comes. So there was a few cables in the way, so it was a bit of a pain, but again, relatively simple to do. So if you are putting sort of 3 hard disk drives in here, you can put them all in, screw them in, then put the whole thing straight back in. Makes life a little bit easier than trying to get a screwdriver into the side of these drive cages. So again, if you want to keep the drive cage out, you can do, and then that gives you an absolute ton of room in this basement section. So all pretty good. Okay, so there you go. There is the SaharaGaming, the Seagod H600. What do you think? I think it's actually a very good case. For the £60 model, without any fans or without the controller, I think it's actually a very compelling choice. You've got a lot of flexibility there for cooling, so if you want to go custom, absolutely fantastic. There's plenty of filtration. The only one negative I would take out of this is the power supply filter, which isn't the easiest to remove, but is certainly functional, so it isn't going to cause you any problems, but just not so great when it comes to maintenance tasks. But having said that, if you're the sort of person who tinkers with your PC quite a lot, and you're looking at putting a load of water cooling here, or custom cooling, then you're not going to be afraid to kind of pull out the filters every now and then. If you're a more casual person and you just want to get the case ready to go, and you buy it with the remote control and all the fans installed, for getting on for nearly sort of £80–90, I think there are other options on the market which may be worth looking at, but certainly for 6 fans, a controller, and this quality of a case, I think it's still a pretty good bargain. So let me know what you think about it in the comments section. But in the meantime, I've been Mike, this is Mike's Unboxing Reviews and How To, and hopefully we'll catch you in the very next video. Thanks for watching.